Guys, if you are a full-time RVer, you are going to be angry. If you're a part-time RVer, you're probably going to be angry. And if you're somebody that's just looking to purchase an RV, you're probably going to be pretty angry.
What's important, we're doing this video, kind of a PSA. You might have heard of it, you might not have heard of it. We really didn't hear too much about this till we just saw it, but this is really important because it kind of gives an insight of how the RV industry works and what they'll do to try to protect themselves. This is going to be a really important video. We're going to try to summarize it as best we can. So this is going to be regarding an FTC rule that just was finalized. It's going into effect in July of 2024. It's called the Combating Auto Retail Scams, or CARS for short. Now, this was first proposed in 2022, and the RV industry was included in it, right? So RVs were included in it. They have recently confirmed, the FTC, that RVs will be exempt. Now, we're going to tell you how this came about, what the CARS rule actually is, and when we tell you what the CARS rule is, I think your blood is going to boil a little bit, because this is a Consumer Protection Act. We're going to give you what our opinion is.
This rule is going to attack two very common but mischievous things that happen during the purchase of an automobile. One of them is, and these are not just shifty, they're absolutely illegal. So the first is bait and switch tactics, and the second is hidden junk fees. And the amount of money and time that these tactics cause the consumer over time is insane. So this rule is expected to save consumers nationwide more than $3.4 billion and an estimated 72 million hours each year shopping for vehicles. Now, I know in the past, when we used to shop for cars, it was an absolute nightmare. Sitting there for hours at a time.
It was
back and forth. And I remember you used to say, we're going to war. We're going into war.
I used to go in, it was a combat of will, really. I don't know how it is now, because we haven't bought a car in a while other than your Tesla. We'll talk about that a little bit. But you have salespeople that are trained to wear you down, to get as much as they can out of you, and it was just a horrible experience. Right. But we had it down. Like we knew the game that they were playing. Like, right. Oh, now they're going to call a sales manager. But it was just a joke.
Yes.
I will say something. We did a video about MJ buying a Tesla, which, by the way, you love.
Love it.
I know some people didn't like it, some do. Let me tell you something. Tesla deserves everything they get, because I hope that other dealerships take notice. The experience, we were in and out in 45 minutes. And the only reason it took that long, because probably a half hour of that was them washing the car. Because it had poop on it. I'm like, can you go wash the car?
Not human poop.
It was amazing. You do everything online. There's no hidden fees. There's no haggling. It is what it is. And you'll probably never buy another car.
No, I didn't know how I would like it. But yes, I mean, I digress. We'll move on. But I love the Tesla. But the process was seamless. And that's really what this rule is trying to attack and get away from. So this rule is also going to include clear protections for members of the military and their families, which is really important.
We'll talk about that in more detail later.
Targeted towards these tactics. But also deceptive information about whether dealers are affiliated with the military and other specific issues that affect service members.
We're going to put this actual rule down below in the links. You can read all for you, because this will be an hour video, and we don't want that. So,
right. Before you get into that, really quick, as RVers, guys, we're doing this for you. Obviously, we're not in the car industry, but this is really going to blow your mind when you hear how this all panned out. Yeah.
So here are some of the CAR rule requirements, and you might say, like, you're going to be scratching your head. So no misrepresentations. The rule prohibits misrepresentations about key information like price and cost.
The next one is offering price, total payment, and add-ons optional. So they have to provide the offer price. So it's the actual price that a consumer is going to pay. Tell consumers that optional add-ons like extended warranties, and they have to give information about the total payment when discussing monthly payments. And this is something that I remember every car I ever bought, anything we ever bought.
That's 101.
Number one, what do you want to pay per month? So what is your monthly payment what do you want it to be? That was always the number one question. Then they would take that number and work all the little fees and
stretch it out, right?
and stretch it out
More
to
interest.
72 months and
Oh, 100.
yeah.
Well, with RVs, 240 months,
Yeah.
right? So your
Right.
$300,000 RV then costs you $600,000
Right.
at the end of the term. But now they're going to have to tell you, well, this is what's going to be your total cost. Right. The next one, no bogus add-ons. The rule prohibits dealers from charging for any add-ons that does not provide a benefit to consumers. We've all heard about those. Some examples of such add-ons include warranty programs that duplicate a manufacturer's warranty, service contracts for oil changes on electric cars. Can you believe that? That hasn't hit the RV industry yet.
Yeah, that's insane.
Gap agreements that do not actually cover the car or neighborhood in which it is housed or other parts of the deal. Software, audio subscription services on vehicles that cannot be supported through the software subscription. We've seen it all, right? Like the special spray they put on, the antibacterial, like
the sheet.
The sheet.
The yellow sheet that came out, and it was just cost after cost.
Window etching, remember that?
Oh, that was a big
$700 for
yeah.
window etching.
The delivery fee was always like ridiculously high. So the next one is to get consumers' consent. So this rule requires dealers to get customers' express informed consent for any charges that they pay as part of a vehicle purchase. So this is really, I love this because anything that's going to help the consumer not get screwed is a good rule.
Is that a bad rule that you need to explicitly know what you're being charged for? I mean, I don't think so. I think that's transparency. Now, regarding the service members, we'll quickly touch on this. The CARS rule prohibits dealers from lying to service members and other consumers about important cost and financing information and about whether the dealers are affiliated with the military or any other government agency or organization. They also are prohibited from lying about whether a vehicle can be moved out of state and whether a vehicle can be repossessed, because there are some laws that may protect many service members from having their vehicles repossessed. So it's kind of just a summary of that. Now we want to talk about when this was initially proposed in July of 2022. What was the RVDA's response to this? So the RVDA is the RV Dealers Association. They are a lobby group, a group to advocate for RV dealerships and their interests.
So back in 2022, as Izzy mentioned, they put forth some large objections to this proposal. So this was from RVnews.com, September 19th of 2022. Two primary objections that they put forth. First, they argued that RV industry practices differed enough from the automotive industry practices. The proposed rule tries to capture that the RV industry should not be subject to that rule. And second, implementing compliance with the proposed rule would create extensive and massive business operations changes that could put small RV dealers out of business. And further on in the article, we were reading that it just sounded like some of them just didn't want the extra paperwork. It was a lot of complaints about the increased.
That was the reason. If the paperwork would have made them more money, I'm sure they would have changed.
They would do a lot
more paperwork
to make more, yes.
This is in quotes from RVDA. Quotes, RVDA is concerned that this proposal is targeted at business practices for automobile dealers who sell motor vehicles, RVDA said. However, it sweeps in RV dealers and other types of dealers that have different business models, customers, vehicle customization, and business practices.
Among the differences they mentioned between the RV and the automotive industry are that RVs are discretionary purchases. Now, I highly disagree, as we have many full-time RV friends. There are thousands upon thousands and thousands of people that live full-time in their RVs. Put in the comments below if you're one of them. That's not a discretionary purchase. They said it's not used like daily like a car, and the RV market being much smaller than the automotive market. It's just, it doesn't matter.
A couple of issues I have there, right? Yeah. So for many, it is a discretionary purchase, but that discretionary purchase is often far more expensive than automobile. Right. And just because it's a discretionary purpose, does that mean you shouldn't be protected as a customer? Like, I see a lot of faults with that argument. 1 year later, December 14th, or a little over a year, December 14th, 2023, the Federal Trade Commission on Wednesday finalized its 2022 Motor Vehicle Trade Regulation Rule. In the final rule, the FTC exempted the RV industry, among others, and renamed the ruling to Combating Auto Retail Scams Rule. Now, I don't know what the initial rules, it didn't really mention it, but RV industry is exempt. Now, there are certain things the FTC says in there, but they're exempt from this ruling.
So the FTC narrowed this rule to now apply to a covered motor vehicle or vehicle, which is a term now which will exclude the RVs.
In quotations, a number of industry association commenters requested that certain vehicle types, including marine vehicles, motorcycles, RVs, and other recreational vehicles, be excluded from coverage, the final rule said.
Adam Crowell, a compliance attorney for KPA and the vice president of corporate development, said the exemption benefits RV dealers in numerous ways. Quote, for the moment, they would not have to abide by the strict formula for what the offering price is, he said. However, they still have to make disclosures about the price and fees related to the price. There is no requirement to keep the documentation relating to the consumer complaints, the sales scripts, the advertisements, and any material changes to those advertisements. The exemption provides...
The evidence. That's what they're talking about. They can't...
Right,
they don't have to
yeah,
keep
get
the
rid
evidence.
of the evidence. The exemption provides certainty, he said, particularly to dealer compliance officers.
Now, the FTC did say that regardless of the definition of a covered motor vehicle under the final rule, unfair and deceptive practices remain unlawful under the FTC Act. There are still laws to protect the customer, but not explicit like this new requirement would have required.
As I mentioned before about the paperwork, this was among the reasons the RV industry was exempted from the final rule was potentially burdensome record-keeping requirements. The FTC said 2 industry associations provided comment letters arguing the record-keeping requirements would be particularly burdensome for RV dealers who are small businesses.
I wonder which... This is just my opinion. I would say RVDA and RVIA were probably 2 of those that were fighting this. They do have big lobby groups in Washington also.
So I'll finish here with a quote and then we're going to discuss a little. So, quote, RV dealers should take note of this rule and what this rule is promoting, Crowell said. I hope I'm saying his name right. It is transparency about prices and transparency about the add-on products and the value of those add-on products. I would caution every RV dealer to be sure they are being transparent and only offering add-on products that add value and having transparent processes for those electing to receive those add-on products. So what are your experiences? Have you had issues with these extra fees? I'm sure we're going to get a ton of people
we have
talking
already
about them. Right, people are always telling us.
The reason why we did this video is because it kind of gives you an insight. It gives you an insight on what the RV industry, RVDA, what they were fighting against and the reasons why they stated they were fighting against this. Record keeping, their businesses are not the same. There were some other things in here, one specifically, like, well, we have to put add-ons such as hitches and other things. Well, yeah, you can sell your RV with those add-ons, but just disclose to the customer what these are and what they're actually paying. That is the issue that the FTC is trying to address. And here's our opinion. And again, this is just our opinion. The RV industry right now is a little bit of a decline. They have a black eye they've had for many years now. Black eye for lack of quality, deceptive practices. A lot of big dealerships out there are not doing the right thing with customers. And we know this because people put in the comments, right? Like, this is not, we're not making this up. You can go out and watch our videos. The comments are just nonstop and people have had really hard time. You have RV Lemon Law attorneys coming on our videos talking about some of the deceptive practices that are going on.
And we're consumers, which is why we are obviously interested in these types of articles and these laws and want to share them with you, because a lot of people don't really know what goes on behind the scenes. And I'm not saying we know everything that goes on behind the scenes, but we do try to keep ourselves informed with the news and things that's going on. So even in the past, we tell people you have to do your due diligence, you have to be your own advocate, even more so now, because they are exempt. And now the FTC says they will be watching and, and they still are supposed to do the right thing. But guys, you have to be your own advocate and be watching out for these things.
And when we talk about buying from a dealership, we always talk about you're buying into that dealership. There's really good dealerships out there. There's really bad dealerships out there. We would hope that in this time of lower sales, if I'm a dealership, and again, I don't own one, but if you want to be transparent, what's a great advertiser to say, listen, we know we're exempt from this, but we're going to go to the car standard. That's what we're going to do because we feel that's the best thing for the customer out there. We feel this is the way to be transparent and the customers are most important. We're not here to rip you off. We're here to give you the best RV you can get and the best experience. So
Right.
what dealer is going to do that? What dealer is going to step up and do something like that? We hope.
We did a video recently, we're going to link it up above, on some of our subscribers and others that we've read about that have had phenomenal interactions and relationships with dealers. And we like to hear that. And if you're a dealer and you're watching, please reach out to us. If you're doing the right thing, we would love to highlight people and let consumers like ourselves know where they can go and be safe.
And this is not about RV dealers and the RV industry not making money. Obviously, they have to make money to continue. The issue is making money in deceptive manners, right? Like getting people into these long contracts with these hidden fees and they don't know what's going on. If people choose to do that and they're well aware of it, and you just protected yourself. In my opinion, when you're transparent and you have all the records and the paperwork to follow, you make yourself less likely to get sued because you document and say, oh, no, they knew it full well what was going on. They accepted it. You're good to go.
Right.
Doing these kind of practices, that's not good. So in the comments below, guys, let us know. Have you experienced this? And what do you think about this? Do you think that the RV industry should be exempt from this?
Yeah, I'm curious your thoughts.
If you like videos like this, guys, to the left of us, we'll put an RV news playlist, we'll put an RV tours playlist, and for myself and MJ, it's a journey of a lifetime, and we'll see you on the road.